Wrathion has created a weapon for himself and he gives you a legendary gem for in your helmet. This gem allows Wrathion to see what you see and communicate with you from a distance. He then asks of you to go back to the Throne of Thunder and collect 12 Titan Runstones. An image of Wrathion appears each time that you win one, but as you can imagine with all the background noises, it was hard to get a proper recording out of it. So here are the sound files.
According to this runestone, the Mogu were Titan constructs, soulless creatures built of stone. We suspected as much. You found another stone. What have we learned? The curse of flesh made the Mogu mortal. Ah, but later they found a way to reverse the process. A clever race. The Mogu served a Titan keeper. His name was Ra. In the Mogu tongue, Ra-Den means Master Ra. Fascinating. I must know more. According to this, the Mogu and their master were sent to Pandaria. They were pursuing a great darkness. The fragment is incomplete. We must find others. Here there is a mention of an old god, Y'Shaarj, a beast with 7 heads who breathed darkness. I suspect that thing was the source of the Sha that haunts Pandaria to this day.
Okay, so the way that I see it, the following happened. The Titans found Azeroth and it was infected with old gods who were waging war with each other by using the elementals. In the land now known as Pandaria, the old god Y'Shaarj was being, well, an old god Y'Shaarj. Titans created Ra-Den and the Mogu, and together they fought against Y'Shaarj and they put him down. With his last breath, Y'Shaarj infected the land with his essence, but there was still a bit of Y'Shaarj goo left. The Titans placed the goo into a container, placed the Guardian next to it, and hid it deep within the land of Pandaria. That is of course until the goblins started to dig in the sacred Veil of Eternal Blossoms and accidentally find the container. Wrathion has more to tell though, so let's continue.
This runestone speaks of a cradle of life. A place where the Titans could create new creatures. Oh, of course, the Veil of Eternal Blossoms. It was a living laboratory, much like Ungoro Crater or Sholazar Basin. We're beginning to put the pieces together, champion. The Mogu were created and sent here to guard the Veil for their Titan masters. Guard it from what? Were the old gods still a threat? Here, this fragment speaks of the winged legions of Y'Shaarj. Servants of an old god? Could this mean the Manted? This runestone is more recent than the others. Something about the sleeping keeper. I think it's referring to Ra-Den, but why was he asleep? You found another piece of the puzzle. This was carved by the Mogu. They were frustrated 1,000 years with no orders from their master, and their bodies had turned to flesh. The Mogu began to argue amongst themselves. This runestone speaks of Mogu savagery. They fell apart into warrior clans, but one king was more ambitious than the others. Lei-Shen, the Thunder King. When the Titan Keeper fell silent, Lei-Shen decided to speak for him. Ah, the final piece of the puzzle. The Thunder King took on the powers of Ra-Den, the very essence of a Titan. He united the Mogu into an empire and tried to continue the Titan's work. Of course he saw himself as a god.
The pieces of the puzzle of figuring out what happened are coming together. Emo Wader already asked, what's the difference between the Well of Eternity and the Veil of Eternal Blossoms? The Well of Eternity was a lake of water placed by the Titans. We don't know why they did it, but it's speculated that the powers of the water were used to jumpstart the evolution of certain races. The Veil of Eternal Blossoms is, as Wrathion said, like Ungoro Crater. The Titans used areas like that to experiment with their creations. For example, say they wanted to know what would happen if a creature is exposed to a hot spring. They could wait for millennia, observing and hoping that the creature would accidentally fall in, or they could place that creature in the hot spring themselves. Areas like Ungoro and the Veil allowed them to do these experiments without messing up things in the rest of the world. What exactly they experimented with in the Veil is not explained. Here Wrathion says that the Mogu and Ra-Den were only created to guard the Veil for the Titan Masters, so it's possible that they didn't actually fight with them. It does show that the Titans were well aware of Y'Shaarj's survival. The Manted were not defeated and Ra-Den for some reason fell silent. Maybe because of the Curse of Flesh, maybe because they were failing to defeat the Mantid, or maybe for a completely different reason. Whatever the case, Lei-Shen found Wrathion and somehow managed to take his powers. He became the Thunder King and took control over the Mogu. He enslaved Pandaria, created the Wall, the pact with the Zandalari. Basically, he built his entire empire. After that, he died of old age, Pandaria overthrew the Mogu, and eventually Xiao would become emperor. 5.3 gave us a little bit more information about Xiao, and although he isn't part of Wrathion's questline, he is part of the story. Here's what he says.
I was emperor. The realm you see all around you was mine to command. I conquered my doubts, my fears, my anger. I buried all of it within the land. But I held on to one vice, the one Sha I never conquered. Pride. My pride cloaked this land in mists. I thought we were better than the rest of the world. I thought we could solve our own problems, but for 10,000 years we stagnated. Our doubts and fears buried in the land, rising up to fester whenever we allowed them. Pride. It is the most insidious of Sha. It is good until it is bad, and then it is more dangerous than all the others combined. Beware of pride. Be humble. The world is plunging into chaos. All the enemies must work together. Proud races must admit they need help. Things are going to get worse before they get better. Only by working together can we overcome the darkness. All that stands in our way is pride.
The 7th Sha of Pride is revealed, and this makes a lot of people think that we will see the Sha of Pride coming out of Garrosh. Now, anything can happen, but in my mind it wouldn't make sense lore-wise. All the manifested Sha that we've seen, fear, doubt, anger, hate, all 6 of them, are all because of the ritual that Xiao did. The ritual where he and the Monkey King traveled across the land, placed a mask on his face, put his emotions into the land, and from those emotions the Sha manifested. There is no recollection during the entire period of slavery and torture of Sha actually manifesting or taking control over people, so I still believe that this is the first time that the Sha were able to manifest in a physical form. As we know, Xiao defeated his 6 Sha, his 6 burdens, broke Pandaria loose from the rest of the world, and the land was covered in mist. Now going back to the Sha of Pride, listen carefully. He says that the Sha was his one vice he couldn't let go of. His one vice he didn't put into the land. It took a very specific ritual to get these Sha to come out, and I haven't seen Garrosh running around with the Monkey King or with a mask. Anyways, that's just my take on it, and I could be completely wrong. So that's the events of Pandaria the way that I see it and what exactly happened. The only thing that I can't explain are the mists. Were the mists created by the Sha of Pride or merely by Xiao his pride? By that I mean, were the mists created as an evil force from Yasharaj, or was Xiao just too full of pride to see that covering his land in mists would not be good for his people? Then the question as to what exactly broke the mists. I've been asking around and people tell me that it was the shattering during the cataclysm that broke it. But if the mists were strong enough to survive the sundering, were strong enough to hold while the Well of Eternity exploded and the continent split apart, why would they break with the shattering? Was it perhaps Yasharaj's influence that purposely uncovered the land of Pandaria? Did he perhaps feel all our emotions as we were battling with Deathwing, and was this a banquet of emotions for him that he just had to get us to Pandaria?
I only sleep.
Quickly, return to me at the Veiled Stair. We should talk face to face. I have been looking forward to your return, champion. The Thunder King took within himself the powers of a Titan Keeper. We must take them back. Bring me his cruel black heart. We will be doing the Pandaren a favor, and the powers that we liberate will once again be put to the service of Azeroth.
A chill just went up my spine.
Something tells me our friend has returned triumphant. The heart of a king. The powers of a god.
What are you doing? You're not seriously going to eat that.
It is filled with Titan magic, the very language of creation. Oh, I see them. A million worlds, glittering in their perfection. But one above all others. Oh.
Oh, we have fallen. We must rebuild the final Titan. Do not forget.
What are you trying to pull?
It is gone. I don't remember any of it. Oh, none of them remember. The irony.
What are you talking about? I don't trust you.
You are wise not to. Champion, I need time to digest what I have learned. But soon, we will take action.
I was really hoping that the visuals would explain what exactly is going on. I was hoping to see an Elgalan moment, but instead we're left with more questions than answers. We must rebuild the final Titan. Do not forget. They all forgot. Oh, the irony. What does it all mean? I could spend hours speculating, but there is simply no explanation given. Some say that it's Sargeras, some say Azeroth is an egg containing a Titan. Was this the Mogu their mission and the reason of all those Titan facilities in Pandaria? Was it their mission to rebuild a Titan? Honestly, I don't know. In my mind, it would be awesome in 5.4 when we're raiding Orgrimmar and we're just about to finish off Garrosh. At that moment, Wrathion comes charging in with his Titan that he found somewhere. And at that point, he claims that we are destroying Azeroth and we must team together to beat the darkness that is coming. We must beat the Burning Legion. And now we have a Titan to carry us around and time to go for space adventures, to meet the Pantheon and kick Sargeras' ass.
The Red Dragonflight has no idea what they unleash when they experimented on my egg.
Ah, we can dream. If you have an explanation for this, please don't hesitate to leave a comment below. I would love to read your thoughts on this. So this is the end of the 5.2 questline, and now we enter the 5.3 part. I'm going to save this for coming Thursday since, well, I've been talking long enough and some of you might want to avoid the spoilers. I hope you enjoyed the story, subscribe if you like my videos, and until next time guys, see ya!